Okay, that's perfect. That is perfect. Oh. Hey guys. Just moving on some tomato plants here. As you can see, these guys from the 4-inch pots here are already loaded with tomatoes. So these guys have got to move on to gallon pots. And then I've got some bigger ones here, and they're probably going to get moved on to some 2-gallon or 3-gallon. So it's very timely that I'm potting these plants up, and we'll touch on that later. But today, I'd like to talk about my top 5 ways that you can make money from your backyard garden. So whether you're a backyard gardener, or you're trying to make organic farming a career, or if you're somewhere in between, there's nothing wrong with making a few extra bucks off your backyard farm. So I'd like to give you my top 5 ways that I've discovered how to make money off a backyard farm. Coming to get you. Boo. Okay, number 1, and this is an easy one. Sell your excess. And this is how many of us get started. You know, we have too much of one crop. We can't eat it all or process it all before it goes bad. You know, we sell it to our neighbors, we sell it to the community around us. Depending on how much you got, you might even start a CSA box program. Selling your excess. That's probably the number 1 way to make money off of your organic farm. Number 2, this is another easy one. Sell starter plants. You know, if you have a fairly substantial backyard garden, you're likely producing a lot of starter plants for yourself. It's not too much effort to do a few more 100 cell containers and get a few hundred extra starter plants for sale. And one of the keys with starter plants is you want to be early. You know, you don't want to be selling tomato plants in July. You know, you don't want to be selling your peas in May. You got to get them out early. The gardeners that are out there buying starter plants, they're pretty savvy. And they want to be buying their tomatoes, you know, in April, early May. They want to be buying their peas in March. You got to get them out early. The great thing is if you have your own seed and you make your own potting mix, the inputs for these guys are pretty cheap. So even if you have excess and you don't sell them all, it's not a huge risk. You're not losing a ton of money. I'll throw a link down below how to make your own potting mix so you can save a ton of money so that every plant you sell is that much more profit. Now, starter plants are also an excellent way to attract people to your farm stand. Next big way to make money, value-added products. Hey, here's a jar of jam. You know, we had too many strawberries one week. We just couldn't get rid of them all. And so it was either sell them on the farm stand, freeze them for smoothies, or make some jam. And so, well, we actually had enough to do all 3. Value-added products. There's so many different things you could do. Really, the sky's the limit. Some examples of some value-added products. You got too many zucchinis? Make zucchini bread. Like we mentioned before, you got too much fruit? Make some jams or some jellies. But here on the farm, I found 3 value-added products that are more lucrative than all the others combined. Number 1, dried herbs. So easy to do. You know, dry up all your rosemaries, your thyme, you know, even your basil and your oregano. The great thing is you can ship it. It keeps for a very long time. You can mix and match. You know, you can make Italian mixes or Mediterranean mixes. You know, dried herbs are a very, very lucrative value-added product. Number 2, salsa. About year 3 of gardening, I found that I would always get, late in the season, a bunch of customers asking for about 100 pounds of tomatoes. And I always thought maybe they were canning them or doing something. No, these were people that were making salsa to go to the fall farmers markets. So I just started making my own. Salsa is a huge value-added product, and it will draw customers to your farm stand. And number 3, this is my favorite, and I often don't have much left for sale because I keep a lot of it for myself, but sun-dried tomatoes. It's the reason I grow so many Romas, because I make pounds and pounds of sun-dried tomatoes for 2 reasons. 1, they're so expensive in the store. And number 2, the ones you buy in the store, they're full of sulfites. Just nasty, nasty sulfites. The stuff they put on beef jerky and deli meat to preserve it. Nah, man, you gotta make your own. And if you do, you will have customers lining up to buy them because they know that organic sun-dried tomatoes, you simply can't buy it in the store. Check out this blackberry bush. It is going to take over the backyard if I don't do something. Number 4, make something. Now here I got a 4-foot herb planter I made for about $9. I can sell these at the farm stand for $30 all day long. The things you can build, if you're good enough with wood, are limitless. You could build an arbor. You could even build a grape trellis. You could build some kick-ass raised garden beds. You could even build a farm stand for one of your peers. You could build picnic tables that double up as plant stands. And of course, you could build these very inexpensive herb planters. So one thing to watch out for, if you're making raised beds and herb planters, it's very seasonal. And you got to start early. Usually people are starting to think about their garden when the first sunny day hits. So you want to have product ready to go. If it's going to take you a day or 2 to make 3 or 4 beds, start making your beds in February or March. That way you can start advertising. You can get the word out there. Now people are aware that you have these beds and they'll be ready to go when they're ready to buy. Let's have a look at some of the garden beds that I've made in the past 12 months. Now we're ready for number 5, the last one, garden design and consulting. If you've got a garden that people constantly admire, oftentimes they'll want to emulate that in their own yard. A lot of these landscape designers, they charge big bucks to design these landscapes for people. And oftentimes, these landscapers and these architects, organic food gardening is not their specialty. And so if you've been gardening for quite a while and you've accumulated this knowledge, you can apply it. And people are willing to spend, quite a bit of money to get their perfect organic garden. So garden design can range from, how they orient their garden beds, where they put their plot, where they situate their greenhouse, how they do the aspect in relation to the sun, whether it's south facing or, working with the client to figure out what their goal is and how to get there. Garden design, people make careers out of this sort of thing. And the knowledge that you gain over years and years of organic gardening could make you an expert in this field. And I got one bonus way to make money on your farm. I'd like to think that it should be included in the top 5 too, because it's one of the main parts of my business. And that is selling your own seed. I collect all my own seeds for tomatoes. I try to do peppers. I'll collect seeds for lettuce, broccolis and cauliflowers if I can keep them separate and know that I can get true seeds. Selling your own heirloom tomato seeds, it's a huge business. And it will draw people to your farm stand. It will create awareness for your backyard business. Saving seeds is so lucrative. Everybody should do it. So there you go. That's my top 5.5 ways to make money with your backyard organic garden. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Leave some questions or comments down below. And hopefully these tips allow you to start making money on your garden right away. See you next time. Value-added products. Strawberries? What the?